With our experts. Mike Rogers, you're a former FBI special agent. If in fact he was at the club casing it or whatever, or was on these and was seen on video footage, the FBI presumably is going to review all that video and interview others who were there who might have seen him to get a better sense of what he was up to.
Absolutely. And so he had some training as a security officer. It was probably very minimal, but he had it. So he knew what to look for in the site. So there are off-duty police officers that this club would use for protection and security at night. He would be able to identify them and understand their patterns. Depending on how often he went back, he clearly had taken some time and effort to determine what the security perimeter looked like and what security looked like on the inside. He evaded most of that through the shooting. So those police officers were not in a position to engage the shooter. That tells me he probably knew how to evade those folks.
I'm sure the FBI is looking at the video
Absolutely.
now and talking to people who frequented that club and some of the people who worked there as well. What's the latest, Evan, you're hearing from your sources about his decision to actually target the gay community?
Well, you know, that's still very much a big focus of the FBI. Why did he choose this place? Why not perhaps a venue that's closer to where he lived, about 2 hours away in Fort Pierce, Florida? Oh, he certainly went and cased not only this venue, Wolf, he also traveled to Disney Springs, which is an entertainment complex that's just outside of Disney World. He was there with his family earlier in the year, and he went back at the beginning of June. And so the investigators believe that he was casing the place before he decided where to launch his attack.
Lisa, respond to these reports that that this guy actually visited the nightclub on several occasions, was using a gay dating app, if you will. What does that say to you?
Well, it shows, obviously, that his sexual identity is a little uncertain for him. He's married and he's also engaged in gay relationships. But mostly what it says to me is that he has this idea, I would believe, I obviously didn't talk to him, but that he isn't man enough. And he goes back to the place, in a sense, is this gay community. Did he not feel macho enough? And if he has self-loathing because he's not macho enough, is he going to go back and take away the lives of those who are doing this to him in his mind? Obviously very depraved, but that's how you might understand it psychologically.
You've studied ISIS, Peter. Is there a rule that ISIS terrorists should go out and kill gay people?
Well, certainly in Syria and Iraq we've seen plenty of that. But I mean, this is unusual to have an attack directed at a gay nightclub in the West. I mean, I don't think we've seen that with ISIS or Al-Qaeda or any jihadi terrorist group. We have seen that, by the way, extreme right-wing terrorists, for instance, Eric Rudolph targeted gay nightclubs back before 9/11. But this is very unusual.
You know what actually, one of the interesting things, and we've seen in a few ISIS arrests, you might remember some of this from some of your briefings, but we've seen the FBI find gay pornography on the computers of some of these that have been arrested after they've carried out these things. And it's a very interesting thing. We don't know what to make of it. The FBI has looked at it, has noticed it, but they don't really know what to make of what causes it.
I can comment on that. One of the reasons that drives a person to join a club, a horrible terrorist group like ISIS, is because you feel very macho and very powerful. If you need to go to such extremes to feel like a real man, it suggests, certainly to the ears of a psychiatrist, that deep down inside, maybe you don't feel like you're a man enough. Maybe you feel kind of puny. That's what people do.
How long is it going to take to get to the bottom of this and figure out exactly what happened? You're obviously the former chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, but you used to work at the FBI.
They'll go back and do a thorough review on both investigations. So there are really two separate instances that caused the FBI to engage in interviews with this individual, Mateen. One where he was not the primary suspect, but he knew the person that blew themselves up was from Florida, had a relationship with a guy who blew himself up in Syria. And that's what started this longer investigation, this 10-month investigation where they had confidential informants working, and they were clearly concerned enough to try to have a longer investigation about what his intentions were. So they'll go back and spy fleck all of that, as they should, to determine, did we miss something, or is the policy wrong? Is there something that we found that wouldn't allow us to put them and hold them on a terrorist watch list that maybe we can look at and change? All of that's going to be
I think if you talk to officials now, and I've talked to officials in the past couple of days about this, I think they believe that if that case were to be open now, he would have been arrested for something. They would have found a way to get him off the street.
All right, stand by. Everybody stand by. We're getting some more information now on the terrorist's second wife. Stand by.